Welcome back to Cosmic Kickback, everybody, the galaxy's favorite talk show. As always, I'm your host, Nick, joined by my co-host, Joshua.
It's the Bat.
That's what we talk about today. We've been talking about the Batman movie with Robat Battinson.
Robat Battinson.
Directed by Reeves and written by it's like every person. No, we've been hyping this movie up for a minute now.
Yeah.
And we finally saw it, I think it was Thursday, right? We saw it like the night before it came out.
Yeah.
I guess that was like the release night.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty hype in the theater.
Oh, yeah.
I think when the lights went down, people were like clapping and shit.
People was losing their mind.
Yeah, there was a guy behind us that...
Oh, my God.
It's funny, we just did like a theater etiquette episode. But
we did.
This dude behind us, like anytime some shit would happen, like Gordon would come on screen, he'd be like...
Yeah.
Like, bro, this dude was a diehard fan.
Oh, yeah.
Might have been Matt Reeves himself.
I'm not even going to hate on him because, like, I know that dude was a big fan, man. Like,
yeah.
Any little reference, like, there was a little reference to, like, another DC city. Like, this isn't really a spoiler. Someone just name dropped a city in the DC universe. And this dude was like,
it's like Metropolis.
Like that's it's
like, bro.
This dude, like,
chill
almost passed out.
Gosh.
So yeah, we're gonna talk all things the Batman. We're gonna give a review.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna do a little non-spoiler stuff at the beginning. So like, we're gonna talk box office in a minute and give our little thoughts. If you don't want to know anything at all, don't even watch this. Wait till after. But if you want to know a little bit, like if you think you'll like this, we'll do a little non-spoiler.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into spoilers. We'll give you timestamps down below as well, and we'll give you a warning before we get into spoilers, so you know when to turn this off. So. Nick, what was the box office for this opening weekend? Do you know?
Yeah, I got it on my phone real quick.
Yeah, pull that thing up because this is actually, I know it's the second best domestic. So for the U.S. Domestic box office opening weekend since COVID has started. So that's pretty good that it did second best. I'm guessing Spider-Man is the one that barely notched out above it because I know that thing was crazy.
So it says that it debuted 134 million at the domestic box office. I'm guessing that's for the weekend.
Yeah, that's.
Or maybe that might be. This article is like written yesterday, so it's like the pretty most up to date.
So yeah, so that's weekend. But I also have the global box office. So this is everywhere that this is opened. Was 258 million.
Damn.
So this is doing pretty good. I don't
pretty
know.
Much double what.
Yeah.
The opening in the North America was.
What was the budget for this movie? Because I mean, I can already tell you right now, this is gonna make its money back.
The budget was 185 to 200 million.
Okay, so it's already globally past.
Dude, Matt Reeves probably chilling. He's like, dude, I paid back the film. Like everything else is just money now.
Now we're just getting paid
to make another one.
And this is just one weekend.
I know. Yeah,
it hasn't even been out a full week.
Yeah, we were just talking about that like as we sat here because we feel like we've been kind of like we're filming the review like a little bit late. Yeah, but it's still like the opening weekend. There's still a lot of hype. Yeah, I kind of want to go see it again, bro.
I've seen it twice.
Really? Who'd you see with?
My parents.
They watched it. Yeah. What did they think?
They actually liked it. The only thing is, well, this is my mom, but she was like, it's kind of long. But I mean, like, it is long. I will say, going into this movie, it's about 3 hours. It's just under 3 hours. It's like 2 hours 56, I think.
I think it's like,
and that's including credits.
Yeah.
So, it is long. I think it's probably about 2 hours and 50.
Yeah.
If you minus the credits. And I mean, I feel like, though, for me personally, and if you're seeing this, you're probably a big fan of Batman or DC or something.
Yeah.
I think genuinely, though, I think it's paced very well. I think watching it both times, I never really found a part where I was like, oh man, come on, can this move along? Like I felt like it was pretty well paced. That's not to say, though, I don't have any issues with it. I think giving me some time to think about it, there's like two things I can think of that I was like, kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that. I think I can't really talk about them in non-spoilers.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to save it for later. But what do you think, Nick?
No, I really enjoyed the movie. I agree with you. I think the pacing was really good. I feel like, I guess with not saying too much spoilers, it really changed from like detective scenes between like important dialogue to like action scenes and stuff and like suspense. And like in a movie when there's like different points, like highs and lows of like where the story is going, that's where I think the pacing is good. Like stuff doesn't drag on for too long. True. And it's a lot of world building to do. It shows a lot of Gotham. It shows a lot of side characters and like introduces people. So, you know, for entry, I guess like the first movie that Matt Reeves is doing, you can kind of expect it to be long because he's got to set up his own universe and shit.
Yeah, and I think if I recall, Matt Reeves actually said when he was first talking to Warner Brothers about doing this, he was like, I'm only going to do it if I get like zero studio interference. Like I make the movie
he's
I
like,
want to make.
Don't fuck with me like Zack Snyder.
Yeah,
bro.
Oh, man.
He said that
been
shit.
known to fuck up
He said that shit from the jump.
Yeah, I mean, that's smart. And I'm glad they did because I think this movie, I'm really trying not to hype it up. Like, because I know.
Yeah, I don't want a fanboy.
I know when a lot of people see a new movie, they're just like, this is the best Batman ever.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm trying not to say that, but I think it's really good. Like, it is really good, I think. I was comparing it back, thinking back to the Nolan trilogy, because those are the next best thing, or the closest thing to this. And looking back, I don't want to talk too much about this, because this is a really hot take. My take has changed on the Nolan films. Looking back, I actually am starting to dislike The Dark Knight.
Damn.
Which is crazy. I don't want to talk about it right here. I think we should talk about that on another episode because I can go into why.
I was about to say something, but I'm gonna hold it back because I don't want this whole episode to just dive off. We're talking about the Batman.
Yeah, we're talking about the Batman. I think in comparison to those, I think it's on par with them for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say it's better or worse. I think it's another gritty, realistic take, but there's also elements of comic booky stuff. Like there's a couple things that are like they don't have that, but it works in this.
Yeah,
I won't say what in non-spoilers, but I will say I think the intro to this is probably my favorite intro to any Batman movie, Batman movie ever.
Yeah, and the intro to The Dark Knight was like pretty good.
It is.
I really like that
intro.
one.
Yeah,
the whole like sequence.
This one to me, I feel like the intro itself is. It immediately I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be good.
Yeah, I was like, dude, the way that's already set up.
Yeah.
There's
it's so good, man.
I'll say without like any more spoilers.
Yeah.
In terms of like the cinematography, I think it's really good. And I think it really uses like dark and negative spaces like to its advantage. Like people will be like standing in a certain shot, whether it's like criminals, and like there'll be areas of darkness behind them. And I think it was like in the first 15 minutes when there's like this whole narration going on. But I thought that was really cool. And they really fed into like the whole old Batman like hides in the shadows type thing.
I think, this honestly, I feel like this movie is, especially the intro and even the outro, it's honestly a very obvious love letter to the comics. Like especially the Long Halloween, it's evident that this is very inspired by that comic, and I'll explain why more in spoilers, but if you're a fan of any of those, you got to see this. It's really good. You talked about the cinematography. I actually will go as far. I don't think anyone will argue me on this, and if they do, I will debate you until you don't even want to debate me no more. But I think
submit a comment. No.
Yeah, I think this personally is the best shot, the best cinematography, the best looking Batman movie. I think it blows the Nolan trilogy out of the water in terms of the cinematography.
Yeah.
I think Nolan's films look very, I don't want to say bland, because I know they do a lot of practical stuff in that. They do a lot of practical stuff in this one as well. We'll talk about that at one point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the cinematography in this, it's really good.
Yes.
And the score in this movie is really great.
It's so original.
Yeah,
it's so refreshing.
It's really good. Some people were complaining about the score actually, which surprised me, because that was like one of the things I immediately was like, this is so good. Like the score.
I'd listen to this shit like.
Yeah. I think. What else can I say without spoiling? I think Robert Pattinson plays a great Batman, a very early days Batman. I like his take on it.
Yeah, I feel like the take, if you're gonna watch this movie and like you thinking it's just gonna be another Batman movie, I think the takes on like the Wayne family as a whole, and like Alfred's pretty good too.
Oh yeah, Andy Serkis plays. I honestly think he could maybe be in it a little bit more. He's that good.
Yeah,
I would like to see more.
I'd like to see it. But the whole take on the Wayne family and stuff, I think, is a lot different. It's not just another like run of the mill like, oh, like.
I'm glad they didn't show them getting shot again in an alleyway.
I know, yeah.
I've seen it like 20 times.
Yeah, if they showed it, I probably would have been like, that's half a star.
I got scared in the beginning because the opening,
Yeah.
is kind of I won't say, but for a second I thought they were about to do it, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yo.
But they don't. It's good.
No.
Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman. I think she does a good job. I like her. Her take on it. I think Colin Farrell as Penguin is really good.
Oh yeah,
He
dude, he kind of stole the show, man.
Yeah, he kind of does.
He kind of the showstopper right there.
Who's the guy that plays Falcone?
Falcone.
I forget the actor's name. You guys were like, it's the dude for Transformers.
Yeah, it's the it's like the Agent 6 guy. Yeah, they're part of like the CIA.
He's actually really good too.
Yeah,
he's great in this. I think he kind of jumps off the comic book page the way that if you ever have read a comic and you've seen Carmine Falcone or Falcone, however they say it differently in every movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's Falcone, sometimes it's Falcone.
It's John Turturro.
Yeah, so he's great in this as a Falcone. He honestly, if you ever look up Carmine Falcone in the comics, he pretty much looks like they just took him out of the page. It's really good.
Crazy.
Paul Dano's Riddler I think he's actually really good. I think he's in the scenes he's in where he's acting. I think he honestly might have one of the best performances I've ever seen in terms of a villain.
I think he brought his own like style to the table in terms of a Riddler, because the only one we really ever had is like Jim Carrey's Riddler, which is like borderline a cartoon.
Well, what's funny is Ben Shapiro.
Yeah,
he reviewed the Batman.
Oh really?
Yeah, and it popped up because I was watching some other people's reviews, and I was like, "Oh, what does this guy got to say about it?" And I only could get through the first 4 minutes. He was like, "This movie fucking sucks." He started hating on it for like stupid reasons.
Hater.
But like one thing he said that I was like, "What the fuck?" He's like the Riddler in this movie is basically the Joker, and I was like. And then I turned it off.
Yeah, I was like, all right, invalid.
Yeah, he's not like the Joker. He's very... Honestly, this movie, I think, toes the line with being... It's not rated R, it's PG-13, but at some points it kind of feels
Dude, it feels
R.
dark as hell.
Yeah, it is. Like, when the Riddler first shows up, the scene's actually, like, kind of scary in a way.
Yeah, it builds kind of some tension.
It's very Zodiac-esque, like the real life killer.
Yeah,
based on reports of how he looked.
Yeah, that whole opening scene, man. Like, something the character on screen doesn't. Like, immediately that was really good.
And the Riddler in this even uses some like Saw trap type things.
Yeah,
like from the Saw movies, and it's actually pretty.
It's like homemade shit.
There's one video. This isn't really. I'm not gonna say it, but there's like one part where I swear to God, one of the things you see that he's using, you don't see what happens, but the person dies. He dies off screen, but it's like the thought of like, oh shit, like he used that contraption on him and that killed him. Like that's pretty freaky.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if I was a parent, I wouldn't take my kids if they're younger than the age of like, honestly, 13. Like any kids like 6 years old, I feel like they wouldn't like it. First of all, it's kind of long. They'll like the action scenes.
Maybe if they're really into Batman.
Maybe, yeah. But like there is a lot of like grittiness, darkness. It's very... I think this Gotham is probably... I love how they don't shy away of how like dirty it is.
Yeah.
How shitty this place is.
Yeah. It's a dump.
Is there anything else we could say? You want to?
No, I kind of just want to dive into it because I'm trying to not say stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying not to say stuff too. So yeah, I think
overall, should we just give it kind of a light rating right now?
A light rating without going to spoilers. I'd say this is right now my favorite Batman movie. Right now, that could change. But I would say this is. It could maybe. I don't know. This is I honestly want to give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same. Okay. I really like this movie too. And honestly, if like I'm thinking about what Batman movie to pick, I'm probably gonna pick this one first or over like The Dark Knight. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Easily
so yeah, go see this.
Very rewatchable.
I think you need to see this if you're a fan of Batman or even honestly just movies. I think this is shot beautifully. I honestly think this is a great detective movie.
Oh yeah.
If you're into noir, it's very noir inspired. You can tell. Go see it.
David Fincher vibes.
Yeah, go see it. And yeah, this is your warning. We're gonna start spoiling the hell out of this movie. So turn this off if you're ready. All right, Nick, you ready?
Yeah. So Ben Shapiro died. No, I'm just kidding. Can you imagine if he was the Riddler, bro?
Oh my god, he does give off Riddler
your justice for your blind eye. Wow. That'd be funny. Okay, so spoilers, bro. Man, that opening scene was really
for the sake
crazy.
of the argument. If my riddle, for the sake of the argument.
I were to flood the city.
Oh yeah, so the city gets flooded.
Yeah. I did not expect that. If
I
I'm just
didn't at
going
all.
to kind of jump to the third act real quick, we're
Yeah.
going to be everywhere. The third act of the movie, the Riddler pretty much gets put in jail pretty easily after like killing all these people around the city.
I think we predicted that he was intentionally getting captured.
Yeah, that always is like a trope.
We were kind of like, I bet you he gets captured.
Yeah, but he kills a couple people before.
He does.
before.
He's actually, in a way, what I like about this movie is, although it is very detective, it's the most detective Batman I've ever seen, which I love.
Dude, there's like 4 or 5 detective moments.
It's really good. What I love about it also is since it is still early days, like it's like his second year. He's been Batman for like 2 years.
It's not a long time.
It's not that long, and he's still not that good, which I like. Like if you think about it, they don't really like solve anything. They kind of do. They kind of fall right into his trap.
Yeah,
and they do exactly what he kind of wants, and then they end up getting Carmine Falcone killed, which was the Riddler's plan.
Yeah,
and the only reason why they really catch him is because he kind of let him get caught.
Yeah. They just saw him like in a coffee shop.
Yeah. So they don't really get ahead of Riddler. Riddler kind of outsmarts everybody, but they're able to like sustain it and stop it by the end, which I like.
Yeah. No, but the riddles were really good because we had a couple. So through different crime scenes, there's like letters to the Batman that the Riddler writes.
Yeah.
And each of them has like a riddle that they have to decipher. And I think it was like in the middle of the movie. It was after the whole funeral scene when that dude's like neck literally blows up. I thought that was funny. This dude has like a bomb like strapped to his neck, and the Riddler just like calls him. He's been calling him for like hours. And he's just like, "Oh, answer these 3 riddles, and like you good."
Yeah.
And, like Batman's just kind of like there with him, like the only dude like next to him, and he's like feeding him the answers. And then like the last question, like
he won't answer it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be a rat, and so like he just dies.
Give him up. Yeah, he'd rather die.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is, I want to go more in depth on the intro. I think the intro narration is really good. I think the whole intro itself.
I didn't expect it to be a narration.
Either,
He was just like October 31st. I was like, yo.
So the intro and even there's an outro narration as well done by Robert Pattinson or like Batman, Bruce Wayne, whatever. And I typically don't like movies that are narrated by the main character. I think it's kind of corny. It's kind of dated.
Yeah.
But in this one, I feel like I can give it the exception because I think it works in the way they do it. And I think it also, right at the end of the intro, you see him like he's writing it in a journal. So it's kind of, it makes sense that he would be thinking this in his head while he's writing what he just went through. It's called like the Gotham Project or something. He's been doing this for 2 years, and he's, you know, taking notes of what happened and all that.
Yeah, like notable events and stuff.
Yeah, and that's what he's reading on the intro. And it's literally, I immediately recognized it. It's very much like The Long Halloween and like Year One. A lot of the comics, when you read it, you know, there's text bubbles from like the characters, but then there's also like a narration.
Yeah.
And like a little text box. And in The Long Halloween, the first murder, I think, takes place on Halloween. So when it first opens and he literally just says like Thursday, like October 31st, I was like, oh shit, what the hell? It's very detective-like, and it's also very just like the comic. And then he straight up just narrates how like he is the shadows, like the Batman signals like a warning. And he talks, you even see multiple crimes happening around the city, and you see these villains look into like the shadows and they think twice, like, oh shit. Like,
some dude just like robs a store and he's just like, oh fuck. He's just like, god damn it.
They look at the sky and they see the sign, and then they see like some dark shadow and they think twice about what they're doing, which is literally like that's what happens in Batman comics and games all the time.
Yeah.
How he's like fear, like he's saying that is me. He literally says I am the shadows, like at one point in this, which sounds so edgy and like on the nose, but it fucking works.
Yeah.
Which like the fact that they made it work is so good, because this could have easily been taken as way too over the top and corny if they did it wrong. But like with the score in the background as well, oh, it's so good. The intro is great.
I love the Bruce Wayne that Robert Pattinson played, because I feel like he didn't really have a lot of like dialogue as Bruce Wayne, but like more as Batman, and like this whole movie we just kind of follow him as like him learning how to do all this shit. It was really cool.
One thing a lot of people, so I've looked at what people's complaints are for this movie, and some people have had the complaint about how they're saying Bruce Wayne and Batman are the same person in this. And I think that's the point. Like, so a lot of people wanted, you know how Christian Bale, when he's Bruce Wayne, he's like jumping into swimming pools with like models and shit.
Yeah, he's very like,
he's an egotistical playboy persona, so people would never expect him to be Batman, you know?
Exactly. He has to like put it
that's
on.
the point. That's what he does in the comics. That's what he always does. And people are complaining that doesn't happen in this movie. They're saying when he's Bruce Wayne, he's still emo and just like brooding. And I think I enjoy that. I honestly think it makes sense because literally the fact that people are complaining, that makes me feel like they missed the point. One of the big points of the movie is that he doesn't know how to be Batman perfectly yet. He's very just kind of going out there and like, he doesn't care if he dies.
Yeah, he's winging it.
Yeah, he's winging. He doesn't care if he dies. He doesn't really care about what Alfred thinks. Alfred almost dies in this.
Yeah.
Which is a part that helps him realize like, okay, I have to be more careful.
Yeah.
My people that I have close can be hurt. And then at the very end, he realizes that the Riddler was inspired by him being like too vengeful and not standing for more than just vengeance. That's like the whole arc of the movie.
Yeah.
So like, I think it makes sense that him as Bruce Wayne wouldn't really like be trying to live the double life thing, do the fake persona to throw it off, because he doesn't care. He's kind of just like,
he's just like going all in, like,
yeah, he's early days. He's like, that's the point of the movie, you know?
Yeah.
By the end of the movie, he realizes he has to do more. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next one he's like, okay, I have to use Bruce Wayne as to my advantage as well. And like, you know, like I think it seems like something they're going to do later on.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think like since he's still super young, like his like plan and mindset to like take down the crime like wave in Gotham is like not fully realized.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that, like for the first
too.
movie, like it's not like he just comes out of the gate like, yeah, I got this shit down, bro.
Yeah.
Like there's one scene where I think it's after the explosion in the funeral hall, like he wakes up in a room full of cops and like Gordon's like, yo, you gotta get out of here. Like they all want to kick your ass.
He literally tells him like, he's like, this is not the way to do this. Like, cause he's like, he pushes a couple of them. And then one of the cops is like, I got you for assaulting an officer now. He's like, you got me for assaulting 3. It's like, he's like, bro, what are you doing? Funny. He's like trying to tell him, he's like, bro, calm down.
Yeah, I thought it was funny because Gordon, like a couple of times, he just like hits him on the chest. And he's like, come on, man. Yeah, he's like, I fucking put my trust in you. Yeah. Like he's just like, he gives him like a stern talking. I like their relationship.
I do too. I think, what's his name? Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah,
I think he's actually a really good.
He's a really good Gordon.
I think Batman and Gordon's relationship in this is actually might be my favorite, like back and forth in the whole movie. Like I think his relationship with Catwoman is interesting too when he meets up with her and how they kind of help each other back and forth in this film. But I think seeing Gordon and him and how they work, it's still early days. Like Gordon's the only one that kind of trusts him, but even then he's not fully sure for a while, and it's like back and forth. I like that, and I really like the famous like Matt Reeves shot he does, where the camera is like walking in and like everybody's looking at the camera, and then it flips and it's from Batman's perspective.
Yeah, it's like a POV.
Yeah, he does that I think 2 times in this. He does it in the beginning when Batman's first walking onto the crime scene, and then he does it at the end when he's walking out with Falcone.
Yeah,
and then it flips and like everyone in the club is looking at him when they're arresting him. God, it's such a good shot. He does that in one of the Planet of the Apes movies too.
Yeah, I love those POV shots.
It's really good, man. It's shot so well.
No, but back to the police station like scene. Like he had to get the hell out of there, and instead of just like kind of disappearing when like people aren't looking at him, like he had to like punch Gordon and then just like freaking run. Like he's running through the police station, and then like he uses his grapple hook to like get to the roof, and then instead of using his cape or some shit, he puts on like some type of squirrel.
It's like a
parachute.
It's suit. Like the wingsuits that they use in real life to glide through mountains and stuff.
And he just jumps off like the highest building, and then like,
hits his
he doesn't stick the landing. I think he hits like a sign, and then he slides on top of like a truck, and then he just slides into some garbage.
I think he was trying to land on a bus, and he pulls like a little parachute that comes out, like one of those small ones. Yeah. To like slow him down, and it gets caught like on the bridge, and he like.
He's just like, fuck. Yeah. I thought that was funny.
I do like it, though, because it shows that he's not 100% experienced.
Yeah.
One thing I thought was really cool.
That's probably the first time he ever did that.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably was. He kind of... He looked down. He's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
The one thing that I was talking about that's slightly comic booky in this, but I like it, is how after we see the whole intro where he he beat up these people that were about to jump this guy, which is in the trailer.
Yeah.
That scene's really good. He walks out slowly out of the shadows. Then he gets back home after the crime scene and all that, and he's in the Batcave. I like how then he takes this contact lens out, and it's like, you were like, what the hell is that? And he puts it on this reader, and it's like a little miniaturized like recorder, and he's been recording the whole night from his perspective, and he goes back and looks at the clues and stuff and takes notes. Like, that doesn't exist. Yeah. But I thought it was really cool.
I thought that was really cool,
I thought it worked.
We'd never seen that before.
I like how it's like a red tint. And, and oh man, that's really cool.
I like how he does his eye makeup too.
Oh yeah, he actually uses the like the black eyeliner, grease paint or whatever.
Do you like his cowl? How do you feel about his cowl?
So the cowl, I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw it, I thought it looked kind of shitty. I didn't like how
it's his second year. No.
Well, yeah, it makes sense. It's like
it's not fully there.
It's early days. I don't mind it though now. It looks like it's leather, and it looks like he sewed it together around the nose area. I didn't like at first how exposed like the face was and his jaw was.
Yeah, like
it goes
the
back
cheekbones.
to like the back of his jawline.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that at first, but honestly, after seeing this movie's I've been waiting for this movie for like almost 2 years now when we first saw a trailer for it.
Yeah.
And in that time, I've grown to actually really like it. And I actually prefer it now over like Christian Bale's cowl, because his kind of just like only has his mouth. Like it's just like a mouth hole.
Yeah.
And which at first I guess I was okay with that. But now looking back, comparing the two, I think Bale's looks kind of stupid now in comparison. And the voice, dude. I think Pattinson's voice, his Batman voice, is like 1,000 times better than Bale's.
It's actually even funny at times. Like,
yeah.
Like there's little jokes and stuff like that relief, like that you're chasing to realize that the whole movie they're chasing like a killer.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like, oh, like okay.
I think the riddles in this, I think it's pretty good. I like how he's leaving notes. I like how there's ciphers. It makes sense because like this has happened before with like the Zodiac killer leaving ciphers. And shit.
It feels like they're actually tracking like a murder scene and not just like, oh, someone died. Like, all right, what do we do?
Yeah,
like,
and I like how when he's looking at the crime scene, there's one point where he's like looking at everything, and you see he's kind of like imagining what happened in the room, and then he walks over, and we get like a shot that actually mirrors the Riddler's shot, because when he first hits the guy with this, it's like a carpet tool that you find out later on. It bounces off his head and he has to go pick it up, and he walks over and it's this low angle of his shoes, and then it matches. Batman does it later from the same angle, and then he finds like the little blood splatter there.
Yeah.
And then the person that's taking crime scene photos is like, oh shit, there's something.
She's like, oh.
Yeah, like he found something.
Like, thanks,
like,
bro.
Shit. Yeah. And I think Pattinson, I think he emotes really well with his eyes, and I think that's another reason why they probably went with bigger eye holes for the cowl.
Yeah.
Because he's very good at like, I don't know, like
there's a lot of like staring.
Yeah, but
like,
it like works.
Yeah. Because I think when he first goes to the crime scene, like the cops are like, yo, like, you want to let this dude in? And he kind of just sits there like, he's like, okay. He's like, all right, like, you good.
What do you think of the cowl and the bat suit?
I think it's pretty good because, like you said, you can still tell it's his like second year, so he obviously kind of just sewed it together.
Mm-hmm.
I hope if there are later movies, like maybe he could change it or like upgrade his suit and stuff. Yeah. But I think for the technology he had, like even his fucking car was badass, dude.
I think this is my favorite Batmobile.
Yeah,
like honestly of all time.
I know, just because it's just like so early, like an early like blueprint.
It's like. The Batman, the last couple ones have just been tanks, pretty much.
I know, it's like even in the games.
Yeah, I know.
It's just like, bro, this shit can literally just kill people. I can just stay in this shit the whole game.
I like the look of the like thinking back to the Tim Burton ones. Those ones are very stylized.
Oh yeah, those are dope as hell.
I love the car though. Like I love how that's clearly like a very comic booky world, and they don't shy away from it. Yeah. This is obviously different, but since it's different and they're going for a more realistic tone,
it's very grounded.
I love how this is obviously just a souped up muscle car that he's literally gone into and like put a fucking engine in the back, and like it looks like a fucking turbine. It's this huge thing.
What the fuck?
Oh man, it's really cool, and I think that might be. I don't know if it's my favorite action scene in the movie, but it's definitely up there. It's like
it's a very fun action sequence.
He chases Penguin in the Batmobile, and it's in the second trailer. The shot of him coming towards the flipped over car. and they got the theme playing, and there's just fire in the background. It's upside down.
Yeah, Penguin's just like,
oh man, that's such a cool scene, man.
yeah, that whole sequence is really cool.
God, it's so great. God, what else you want to talk about, Nick? What have you not talked about? Anything you don't like?
I wanted to bring up, I thought it was a funny moment when they were like following the riddles, and I think like it was after one of the murders, like a note had said like La Rata de
El Rata Alada.
Yeah, like El Rata Helada.
Yeah.
It was like a rat with wings, and they spent like such a long time trying to figure out, like, they were like, what is it, like, what does this mean, like, and then they end up picking up penguin because they think like, oh, like a bird has like wings,
like a penguin,
like a rat has wings, and they're trying to like ask penguin like, yo, what does this mean and stuff, and he's just like El Rata is like that's a feminine, like it's La Rata.
He's like, you guys are like know the worst Spanish I've ever heard. He's like,
I know. It's like, no hablo español.
Yeah.
But the whole time, like, Riddler was just fucking with them because he gave them such like.
It said like the full riddle said like you are, or like something, you are El Rata Alada. So he was like, he couldn't have messed it up. And they meant the L. The reason why he used L instead of La Rata was because like it was URL.
Yeah, like it was a website.
Yeah, URL, and then type in Rata Alada. And then
and they
like
just had to type it in.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny just because like sometimes like they thought the riddles were so complex when it was just like right in front of their face.
Thinking too much, bro.
Yeah.
And
so they don't really catch him in any of his like.
They really don't. That's what
Riddler
I kind of like.
Wins.
Yeah, that's what I kind of like about it. I like how he's early days, so I'm okay with him not being like able to like solve everything perfectly, and like like he's still learning.
Yeah.
And what was I gonna say? The interrogation scene where Batman goes in to talk to Riddler. So one of the targets is Bruce Wayne, and he goes to the orphanage and he finds this out, and then he's rushing home because he doesn't want Alfred to get whatever happens, and he sends a package that's supposed to be like a bomb that kills Bruce Wayne. So he doesn't kill him because he's Batman. But this is probably one of the most interesting parts of the movie when he goes and talks to the Riddler. There's like this. Paul Dano does this really long monologue where he starts saying Bruce Wayne, and it's literally sounds like he's saying that Batman's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, it sounds like he knows his secret.
He does.
He's just like, I know, like,
and he's like taunting him or something.
Yeah, and Batman kind of just sits there like frozen, like, oh shit.
As soon as he says it, he like looks up at like the camera that the GCPD has on him, and it's being recorded, so he's like, oh shit, like, yeah. But then after this monologue, he says Bruce Wayne like he's the only one we didn't get.
Yeah, he was just like, man, like people like that, like, yeah, that kind of had me on edge too, because I was like, fuck, I was like, does Riddler actually know?
So that's the thing though. I wanted to talk because I love how, if you think about it, it's kind of plausible that it can be argued either way, that he doesn't know or he does know. Yeah, because it sounds like he could have been toying with him and then been like, no. Yeah, like, this I'm kidding. No, well, because he okay, so from his point of view, he thought Batman and him were working together. Yeah, and he was like, oh yeah, you're the one that did all the physical stuff, so we can like help clean up the city. When Batman's been trying to catch him and stop him. Yeah. So what I think is I don't think this is what happened. I think it is a possibility, though. I like this theory, is that he was able to deduce that he's Bruce Wayne, and he obviously has resentment towards Bruce Wayne because he was an orphan as well. And Bruce Wayne had like all this money, and all the focus was shifted onto him, and then all the actual orphans all got forgotten about. So that's why he has resentment towards him and other elitists in Gotham. Yes. And I feel like he could have found out he was Bruce Wayne and been like, okay, well, the real you is Batman. Like, cause he said like the mask, he was just like, oh, we both know like the mask, like that's the real us. Like when I put on the mask, I can be who I really am. Yeah. So he's saying that. So I think some people have been speculating that maybe he does know, and he's kind of like, oh, I know you're Bruce Wayne, like you survived. He said, but like we both know who we really are. Like you've been helping me. But then that's when he says, I haven't been helping you. Like you're insane. And then he starts freaking out. Yeah, starts singing. Damn. Well, if he does know, do you think he'll ever use that information against him? Well, it's possible, or he's just gonna like have him in checkmate. Well, so what happens, and I thought this might be what they did, but then I knew they weren't going to do it because there was the camera. There's one, I think it's called it's a comic. It's called Batman Zero Year or Year Zero or something like that. And in that comic, the Riddler pretty much does like everything he did here, and he ends up blowing water. Like he does the water thing, and Gotham gets flooded. And then Batman is talking to the Riddler in jail, and the Riddler pretty much says that he knows who he is, and he's like figuring it out, and he's kind of trying to blackmail him with it. And I think Batman, his response is that like a riddle that everybody knows the answer to, like has no value.
Bro, Batman has a freaking crossbow in this one.
He does.
He has like a bow and arrow.
It's because everything's gone back to like primal because the city got flooded. But I think that if I recall, that's the right comic. I think Riddler says that, and then Batman says like, oh, like a riddle everyone knows the answer to. Like that's got no meaning. Like no one cares. It has no value. And then the Riddler's kind of like shit, he's right. And he doesn't do anything with it because he's like, well, fuck, like, you know.
Yeah.
But I personally think he doesn't know. I think they filmed it, and Paul Dano's acting is in such a great way where it's left up in the air and people can kind of decide for themselves.
It's not exactly.
Yeah, because you can see that argument that I just said that was someone else's online. It's a lot of people think that. I personally think he doesn't know he's Bruce Wayne. I think it was just intentionally acted and written that way to make Batman feel very like anxious and suspenseful until he reveals that he doesn't really know. He's like, oh, it's the only one we didn't get. Because the whole audience is also feeling that tenseness, and the music's building up, and it's like, oh shit, like what's gonna happen?
Caught him red-handed.
Yeah, it's and then that relief of him knowing he doesn't, like, it's all very. That scene's really good.
Yeah,
that's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a good scene. That's a good scene. Yeah, there's a lot of good scenes in this, man.
Let me talk a little about what I don't like and see what you think.
Yeah, spit some opinions, because I can't really think off the top of my head other than like maybe it just being a little bit like
the
longer
length.
than normal.
Yeah.
For like an introductory movie.
So two things. I'd say like two things. So let me start with the biggest one. I can see. So the Riddler's big plan that it's revealed is that he set up these vans of bombs in them that are going to blow the walls that hold in the water into, and it floods Gotham pretty much. And in my opinion, it kind of comes out of nowhere. Like I feel like there's not really, and I could be wrong. Maybe you can tell me like, no, you could have thought about this earlier, but I could have sworn it's never really told or shown that Gotham has these walls where if something were to happen to them, that would happen. It kind of just happens. Yeah. He does find his like plan under the carpet, but like literally like moments after that is when the bombs explode. Yeah. So he's too late. But I feel like that's kind of out of nowhere. Like I feel like there was no way to know that. So that's like one gripe I have, because it just feels like it comes out of nowhere. Like I wouldn't have known that was a thing unless I guess I was an architect. And I just saw it and I was like, oh yeah. I
mean, I don't know. Maybe even earlier in the movie, they could have showed something like just a simple like advertisement or like a trailer, or like billboard signs of like, oh, like Gotham's newest like floodgates, like
something like that. I guess I don't know, or maybe one of the Riddlers, like maybe he has like a moment where it's kind of like
hinting,
foreshadowing, there's like some kind of foreshadowing, because I feel like there's no foreshadowing. I feel like it just kind of happens, and I wasn't expecting it all. But I mean, I can deal with it, is what I'm saying. Like it's not like make or break. Another thing is, so when Alfred gets hurt, there was one point where I literally was like, shit, are they really killing Alfred this early? Yeah. And it did feel like that, but then he's fine. He's just like hurt in the hospital. So it's kind of like, okay, I was like, okay, of course they're not going to kill him. Like he's the main character. But I thought what they could have done more with is while Alfred's in the hospital, the Riddler releases like a public video that kind of outs Thomas and Martha Wayne, Bruce Wayne's parents, and he's watching it, and it says like Thomas Wayne was running for mayor and he had these promises of this, but do people know that this one reporter was actually going to reveal how back past like their great grandfathers, the Arkhams and the Waynes, the founders of the city, the Arkhams covered up how like one of their great ancestors like killed their son or they killed their mom, and like this like dark history shit.
Yeah, it's like a family secret.
Yeah, and then how Bruce Wayne's own mom, Martha, they were saying she was in and out of Arkham for a couple years, like a mental facility. They were just, it's like blackmail stuff.
Yeah.
And they were going to release that before Thomas Wayne was running for mayor. And then he reveals like that's why like Thomas Wayne talked to Carmine Falcone to have the reporter killed. And Bruce Wayne has this huge thing like, what? Like I'm literally doing this because of my parents' death.
Yeah.
And he's like has this big thing where he's like, I got to go talk to Falcone because I got to see if this is true. And he does, and he tells him like, yeah, your father came to me. Like I had to do what he told me to do. He told me to put the fear of God in this man. He's like, and I killed his ass. So he pretty much says like, yeah, you thought your father was like a clean guy. Like, nah, man, like we all dirty.
Yeah, he's like struggling with kind of like, oh, I've been doing this for my parents this whole time. But
yeah.
Now they kind of have this imperfect past.
Exactly. And I really like that. I like how it's
like the different take on the Wayne
Yeah,
family.
I really like that. And then immediately, but then this is my issue. This is a slight issue. Immediately after that scene, he goes to talk to Alfred. And then Alfred pretty much just negates everything that just happened. And Alfred drops the bomb that once his dad, Thomas Wayne, found out that Falcone that Falcone had him killed, he was like, Thomas Wayne was like, I'm going to go to the police with this information. This is awful. You shouldn't have done that. So then he was like, and then your father and your mom were killed. So then Alfred's saying that Falcone's the one that had him killed.
Yeah.
Whereas Falcone was saying it was Maroni that had him killed because Maroni was worried that Thomas Wayne would be in Falcone's pocket for helping him out. And also because they talk about how he saved him from a gunshot wound at one point.
Yeah.
Which that's taken from the Long Halloween comic as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. But what my thing I have a slight issue with is I feel like once Bruce Wayne finds that information out about Thomas Wayne, he goes and talks to Carmine, and he now thinks his dad is dirty and everything he's been doing for no reason, basically. And then immediately going and talking to Alfred, like literally the next scene, Alfred then says all this, and then he's like, oh shit, like, well then my dad was fine.
Yeah.
And then Alfred fixes it, and then he goes and everything's back on track. I feel like it would have been way more interesting if instead of directly having the scene and then Alfred fixes the whole situation of some dialogue and explanation. I think it'd be better if there's like a moment in there where like I don't know, like let's let it like sit on his conscience, let it sit there for marinate a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like that could have been interesting. Like, what does he do now? Like, does he have like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like that could be a good area to do something instead of immediately fixing that problem.
Yeah, just have him sit with the feeling of like,
yeah, like, I don't know, they could have had him go just like beat the fuck out of some thugs for no reason just because he's mad.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Something like that, you
I would
know?
have liked to see that. It's crazy, dude. So for like, his suit's bulletproof, right?
That was the other thing.
There's a lot of times like
he's just
people are
getting
straight up
shot
shooting
up.
him like 2 feet away,
Mm-hmm.
and like bullets are just reflecting off his suit.
So that's another thing. I don't know if he's too bulletproof or not, because like I don't want him to be indestructible, but at the same time, I feel like people do get hits on him, and it seems like in the last fight too, when he gets shot, it seems like it is slowing him down and it is affecting him, despite it, you know, not killing him.
Yeah.
It is very much like if I were to wear like some armor and a bulletproof Kevlar and like all this shit, and then I got shot, it would still hurt like a bitch on my chest.
Yeah,
like I would have a bruise afterwards.
like paintball at least.
Yeah, I'd have probably bruises, especially he gets shot with like a shotgun at one point.
Yeah, he does.
I'd have a big ass bruise on my chest if the Kevlar stopped it fully, and I'd be really sore.
Played up.
So I put the armor plates on. But I feel like I can let it slide because the armor does look like it's made of metal.
Yeah,
you know,
that's crazy, heavy as shit.
Yeah, I know,
carrying
right?
metal.
What'd you think of the he injects himself with something at one point, and then he just goes like ham on that dude?
Oh, I think that was adrenaline.
Oh yeah,
I think he straight up just didn't. What was that? Was that at the club or where was that?
It was at the end when he was at the top of the Gotham Square Garden.
Oh, that's right. Some dude like shoots him.
He gets shot, and then
Yeah.
Catwoman saves him, and then they start beating up Catwoman, and he goes beast mode for a second.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm pretty sure he injected himself with some type of like stimulant.
He gets up and sauces the guy.
Yeah, and then just fucking like, oh.
They stop him. They're like, bro, shut up, bro.
The cops were like, yo.
Yo.
No, I thought the action scenes were really good though.
Mm-hmm. I think the fighting scenes are fucking amazing.
Yeah, because again, like you can tell he's not that like good at fighting, but he has a lot of like rage and like.
I like he does parry a lot of hits. Like when he first goes into the club, like he just rushes in and he like throws a bat at someone's face.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
Yeah, like they were about to shoot him with the gun and just like flicks.
Yeah, I really like his gadgets. I like how his grapnel launcher kind of comes out of his like wrist and he can like pull stuff or grapple with it.
Yeah.
Man, it's so good, man.
Yeah.
It's really good.
His technology is really cool to look at.
Yeah, and I like how at the end, it seems like he doesn't have like smoke bombs yet, and he does that one thing that causes a lot of smoke to happen by putting a bomb on this like extinguisher thing or something, and then a lot of smoke happens.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like he could then be like afterwards be like, yo, I should have some smoke bombs because that's like something he uses all the time.
Yeah.
So it seems like this is early days. He's still gonna be like, yo, I should add this. I can upgrade this.
I want to see like him have a full on belt.
Yeah, it's really cool. I really like how they set up everything. Anything else, Nick?
I don't know. Do you want to talk about the jail scene?
Yeah, I was leading to that because that's probably the biggest setup for anything.
So it's Joker.
Yeah.
Pretty much, Riddler was laughing with his new friend when he got put in jail. And they didn't really show his face.
It looks like he has scars on his face.
He looks. It's the guy that played Druid, right?
Yeah, it's Barry Keoghan or
Barry Keoghan or
something
Keegan.
Like that. Yeah,
he was in the Eternals earlier last year, or later last year. But yeah, they don't really show anything. He kind of just gives like little lines of dialogue and then laughs. How you feel about the laugh? How you rating the laugh?
It's okay. I mean, it's all right. It's not bad. I think there's a couple things.
Sounds very young.
He does. I mean, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
So Matt Reeves has since, I don't know if you saw this, he came out and he confirmed like, yeah, that's Joker. And he said it's like a proto Joker, I think is what he called him.
Proto.
So he means like,
testing it out.
Yeah, like Frodo, you know? I'm kidding.
No. It's a hobbit.
Yeah, it's Elijah Wood. It's not Barry. No. It's what he said was he doesn't call himself the Joker yet. He's like early days, kind of like Batman. Like he hasn't had like whatever besides makes him the Joker yet, I guess. But there's one thing that I thought was really interesting, and we're actually going to see this at some point. He said that they actually filmed another scene with him as the Joker, but it was cut from the movie. Bro. And he literally said like, I'm excited for you guys to see that. So he said he will release it at some point. So I don't know if we're gonna have to wait for it to come out on disc.
Dude, I'm about disc.
It online. But this is the scene. It's pretty much, you know, Silence of the Lambs, right?
Yeah.
You know how the reporter goes to talk to like a killer to like try and solve something else. They were gonna do that.
Okay.
Batman,
Hannibal Lecter type.
Yeah, he was gonna come in and talk. He wanted to talk to another inmate to try to understand how a killer's mind works. And they were gonna have him act in front of Barry Keoghan or whatever.
Damn.
And he was gonna like try and get some information. So it was gonna be before they catch Riddler, but he felt like it kind of threw off the pacing a bit. It was kind of like whatever.
People would just want to see more of Joker.
Exactly. So they cut it.
Okay, that's good.
So I'm okay with the cut. I don't know if it'll be considered canon or not that he went and did that. We'll see how they work. But he even said he doesn't know for sure just because he used Joker in this for that scene. He said he doesn't know for sure if he's even going to do Joker in the next movie. Like, he's like, just because he's there doesn't mean like I'm going to do him directly after this. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. He did talk about he thinks he would like to do Mr. Freeze. He thinks Mr. Freeze is like a really good story.
Dude, Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy.
That'd be really cool.
That'd be cool to two of them.
Who else does he mention? He said Hush is a cool character he would like to do.
Yeah. I feel like that was hinted at.
They tease Hush in that one Thomas and Martha Wayne video.
Yeah.
Because the reporter, his name is like something Elliot, and the character Hush is Thomas Elliot, so people think it might be like his son. Because usually Bruce Wayne's childhood best friend is Thomas Elliot, and Thomas Elliot is fucking crazy because he's jealous of Bruce Wayne after that happens. So
everyone's jealous of this boy.
He kills his own parents so he can be like Bruce Wayne.
Bro, try hard.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
just like him.
And then he ends up becoming a surgeon, and he surgically modifies his face so he can look like Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he always has bandages on.
Yeah. So that could be honestly a really good detective story.
Damn, is there an animated movie?
Imagine Batman's trying to solve some shit, and then they find out he's like, it's Bruce Wayne. He's like, what the fuck? No, it's not. Like that would be like a big thing. Like that. There's so much interesting things they can do with that.
Yeah,
and then
be
Pattinson
really cool.
can act like against himself. You know?
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Like a what's it called? A doppelganger kind of.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to see how they do that.
I feel like he could fuck his whole life up.
He really could. Yeah,
that'd be low-key pretty cool.
That could be interesting. I think Mr. Freeze would be cool. I feel like we're gonna get Joker though at some point because they already casted a guy as him. There's also a picture that you can briefly see actually in the movie, and you could find it online. It's I think it's in the movie. It's in the part where it's either at Riddler's hideout where he has all these pictures. And that's when Batman thinks he might know who he is because there's pictures of Bruce Wayne up as well. And then it also says, like, I know the real you.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, shit, does he know?
But I think that was just a note to himself.
I think so, yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Well, Bruce Wayne was one of his targets as well. So you're not sure.
Yeah.
But there's a picture of him as a kid on the choir with his glasses. And then there's another shot of Bruce Wayne standing somewhere. And in the background, you see like a creepy like half face like from nose down, and it just is like a smile. It looks like the Joker,
bro.
And that was in the movie for like a brief second. You can find it online. It's like a black and white picture, and it's Barry Killigan's face. If that's him, I think he's got the Joker smile nailed perfectly. Like it looks so fucking creepy. Nick's looking that up right now. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll probably throw it up around this time. And if you're listening, I mean, go look it up for yourself. Go see. Let's see what else happened in this. There's a lot. This movie's 3 hours long.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that Catwoman's was the daughter to Falcone.
Mm-hmm. That's also from the Long Halloween.
Yeah,
which because sometimes they don't know who her parents are, and other times it is Falcone. Mm-hmm. I like how they kind of went with that. It makes sense why she would have a stake in this, you know?
Yeah. And
then she also dips. She goes to Bloodhaven at the end.
Yeah, where the hell's Bloodhaven?
That's when we watched this, the guy behind us, that's when he was like, she was like, I'm going to go to Bloodhaven. And then this guy's like,
God damn.
That's literally what he did, bro.
Yeah. Okay, I think I found it.
Oh, you found it?
So that's him.
You got to find it, bro.
That's Riddler.
Yeah, that's him as a kid. Did you find the smile, bro?
I'm looking for it.
Let me look for it, Nick.
I'll send this to you.
Hang on, look. I bet you I can find it real quick.
But he's in the choir right here. No,
it's not the choir picture. It's right. I said it was by that in the scene.
Which one?
Oh, look at this. It's not this picture. It's it's cut off, but it's that picture in the background of Bruce Wayne. There's like a smile.
Damn.
Hang on, Nick. I gotta do everything, bro.
These Google Images is hard, bro. This is the first week of the movie. Oh, look right here.
You found it?
That?
Yeah, look at it. Look at the smile.
Dude.
That's I mean, that's intentional. There's no way they just happened to be an extra on scene that was smiling.
They literally like freaking put that in.
That looks, yeah.
I'll share this with you.
I'll throw it up. It'll be on the YouTube video if you're watching it and listening. If you're listening, you got to go find this.
That looks like comic book like.
It does. The
like
smile
Joker has a really long face.
It looks, the fact that like Barry Keoghan or whatever can do that, like he looks intimidating.
Yeah.
So I guess we're gonna have to see. I feel like this is definitely gonna get a sequel.
Oh, for sure.
Like no way it doesn't.
You said you had some news about that, no?
What did I tell you? Oh yeah, the news was what I told you, that he said he'd like to do either Hush, Mr. Freeze, or something like that. Was like all.
I mean, still that's cool. He's open to doing more.
Yeah, and they're also, we knew they were doing some HBO Max shows. So
that's right.
But there's recent news. We knew they were gonna do a Penguin show, and they were talking about doing a GCPD show. The GCPD show is no longer happening. Aww. Sadly, it was gonna be Jeffrey Wright, I think, but I think it was gonna take place from the GCPD's perspective of Batman's first year. So it was going to be like a kind of a prequel. So it's not from Batman's perspective, it's from theirs.
Yeah.
But that's shifted. That's not going to happen no more. That show is not happening. It's now going to be a more horror-based Arkham series.
Oh.
So it's going to take place within Arkham Asylum, and it's going to be like, I guess it'll have to do with the inmates, the patients, which that sounds cool to me.
No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, they can do a lot with that.
Yeah.
Like, you can tease upcoming characters like that are inmates. You can tease, like, bro, they gotta have Condiment King in there.
Condiment King, dude, Kite guy,
Yeah.
Kite dude.
Yeah, like, because they can tease those people in that show. I think what they're gonna do, though, I think it'd be cool if they had like Hugo Strange there.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
Because he's like he's a villain. He could be working there. He could be like the warden at the time or something like that. They can tease. I don't know if they're gonna do this because I don't know how this
like Ra's
character.
al Ghul.
They could do a lot of.
I don't know
stuff.
how they would do that though, because
They could do Harley Quinn. How before she's like a psychiatrist, so she could be in the Arkham show.
That'd be cool.
Working as like a psychiatrist.
They could do a lot of stuff.
I don't know if they could do that because I don't know how Harley Quinn would work in this universe. I'm being honest. She's very giddy. And this is like a really dark and gritty. I can't see her unless they change her and make her more like realistic.
Unless it's Margot Robbie.
I wonder. But yeah,
That'd
they
be
could do. I think Hugo Strange would be cool. They could also tease Hush in an Arkham show because he works as a surgeon. I think in some versions he actually works at Arkham.
Yeah.
And he kind of like cuts off people's faces.
Yeah, he kind of does some weird shit.
Yeah, he's like an undercover. Like he could be. Dude, they could do a lot of stuff.
Hugo Strange.
We know for sure that's happening, and then we're getting the Penguin show with Colin Farrell.
I'm excited for that.
So that's probably going to be Penguin like seizing the opportunity at the end of this movie. Gotham's flooded, martial law. He's gonna like
look at this dude.
Yeah, Hugo
Strange.
Look at that dude, bro.
Was he ever in a?
He was in Arkham City. Yeah. So yeah, I think that that would be interesting, especially since Matt Reeves is saying it's gonna take inspiration from like horror films. It's gonna be like very horror-esque. I mean, because Arkham is like a scary fucking place.
Yeah.
Dudes be freaking out there.
Oh man, that'd be so cool.
So yeah, that's happening, and the Penguin show's happening, and then Batman 2. I'm guessing it'll be released in 2025.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah,
probably 3 years, maybe. Hopefully not longer than that.
Yeah, I think in 2025. That's my hope. And then sometime before then, the TV shows.
Yeah, I feel like with
cool
COVID,
with
like it's gonna be a lot better in like a couple years, or probably just like very soon. Maybe we don't know how this year will go.
That's true.
Because the summer seems pretty stacked with movies. Because I know with this movie, it went through like so many production like stoppings. And,
it was
like,
gonna come out last
sick.
October.
Yeah, the release date got pushed back.
That would have been cool too, because the intro he says like Thursday, October 31st.
Yeah,
it would have been the same month
shit.
that we were watching.
That would have been like Matt Reeves probably planned that, but he was
probably
like,
imagine if we watched this on Halloween, bro.
Yeah,
that would have been man.
That would have been crazy.
The vibes.
Damn, I would have dressed up.
Would you?
I don't know.
What did you, bro? You always be saying you're gonna dress up for Halloween, then we don't do nothing,
bro. We were supposed to do it for the Suicide Squad.
We were
nobody dressed up.
No one did.
We got to pick something this year
and actually do it. Hey, we'll see. We'll see.
I'll do a superhero one. I'd be down.
We gotta. Oh man, yeah. There's so much we gotta do. We'll figure that out. Nick, is there anything else for the Batman?
No.
I feel like we went through a lot.
Go see this movie. Yeah, it's been like an over
it.
hour review. This is a good saucy review for y'all.
Yeah, I mean, we were hype up for this movie for a long time. I feel like this movie. I mean, we're only in March, but this is definitely my favorite movie of the year so far.
Yeah, this is pretty top tier. I think with everything else coming out, like I was the most hyped for this too.
I was, dude. Honestly, in terms of like the movie, I think this is better than No Way Home.
Yeah,
I think it's.
I like how it's not on a big scale like No Way Home.
Yeah, like No Way Home is like a good, like it's a fun movie. There's a lot of cool shit happening.
Yeah,
I think this is. Oh, it's just like it feels
way
like
more down to earth.
Yeah, like that's not that. I can go either way, you know.
Yeah,
but. Just as a film, the way it's shot, I think it looks better.
Oh yeah,
like the man,
the cinematographer, looks
beautiful.
I was gonna say this earlier, I totally forgot. The cinematographer, he worked on Dune,
oh,
and
no wonder.
He worked on Vice, and then he also worked on one more movie, I forget, but it has really good cinematography.
There's a lot of shots, and one thing I also like in this movie, I think he's only called Batman once.
Yeah, they don't even throw the name around like
because he's still new.
Greg Fraser's the name of the cinematographer. Yeah, he just goes by Vengeance.
Yeah, and the what's the guy's name? Like Michael something that did the score.
He also did Rogue One.
Oh, Rogue One. That shot with Darth Vader at the end.
Oh yeah,
that's literally comes out of the shadows.
That's freaking crazy.
The score of this is really good. Cinematography is great of this. The acting is great. I honestly think the points I've heard where people have said like they don't like the Bruce Wayne thing, I think it works fine. It makes sense.
Michael Giacchino's the guy who did the score.
That dude did a great job. Honestly, this is probably my favorite Batman theme. Actually, I don't know. I really like the original one from the 89.
I think the Dark Knight one's pretty cool.
The Dark Knight one's cool too, but you know the 89 ones, it's like da-da-da-da-da.
Oh yeah,
that one's cool too.
That one's really cool.
All three of those are good. They're all really good in
We
their
can
own ways.
debate now like Batman shit.
Yeah,
there's so many Batmans.
There's so much, man. And we're getting more Batman this year. Remember Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton are going to be Batman in The Flash.
Oh yeah.
That's coming out this year.
I think before the movie, we got there hella early.
We did.
We watched like some previews for like HBO Max with like the shows they were gonna have like put out and stuff, and The Flash was one of them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're also this movie. I'm surprised by this. I want to know what you think. This movie is gonna be released on HBO Max literally 45 days after the release date. So like next month, we're gonna be able to watch this on HBO Max. Yeah, like on April 16th.
Dude, they're putting a lot on HBO Max. Actually, I think the French Dispatch is on there.
Really?
We could watch that. Yeah, we could watch a lot of shit and start reviewing it now.
I wanted to see that movie.
Yeah, just because we didn't like make the time to go to the theaters. Like streaming Loki coming in clutch.
Well, we never. When we reviewing Uncharted.
Oh my gosh, bro. You know what?
We just did a really good movie review, and now we gotta get a stinker, and we just gotta.
I kind of have high hopes for it, bro.
You do. Have people said is it good or bad? I haven't looked at anything.
Let's see.
What's the general consensus for Uncharted?
Rotten Tomatoes. This is subjective. Yeah. The audience scores a 90.
Really?
And then
for Uncharted?
Yeah. And then it's 41 for the critics.
A 90 for Uncharted from the audience.
Yeah.
What?
That's crazy.
Wait, what's the Batman Rotten Tomatoes? I'm interested.
Let's see.
If the audience is lower than a 90, if it's lower than Uncharted,
dude,
I've lost faith.
Then we definitely got to
I've lost faith. Get the fuck out.
Bro, it's 89, bro. It's 1% below Uncharted.
I guess Uncharted is better than the Batman.
But the critics rate it way higher.
86?
Yeah. Definitely double what Uncharted was.
I would love to have a video where we actually rank all the Batman movies.
Oh, fuck.
Remember we ranked all the Star Wars movies?
That's true. We got to come in prepared.
Yeah, we got to
like an
have
argument.
A little bit. Yeah, we can't just do it on the
whiteboard.
Yeah. We can't go off the dome and be like, what else came out? It's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, George Clooney. Well, we should get some little like whiteboards and do that.
I would love to rank them because, like I said at the beginning, I'm beginning to not like The Dark Knight, and I feel bad because I used to love that movie. Yeah. I love Heath Ledger's performance.
For a long time, that's what it always was.
It was like that's like the top.
Yeah.
And I honestly, like you said, I think this is my favorite Batman movie now. I just love the take. I love the look of it. It's beautiful. The score.
It's refreshing.
Go see this movie. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.
Me too. I think my score will probably stay there too. I don't see it really changing.
I think it'll stay a 9 out of 10 as well. All right.
Yeah, that wraps up the review, guys. Yeah. Go leave a comment if you watched the Batman or if you plan on watching it. Follow us, guys, on Instagram and Twitter. Cosmic Kickback. Follow us at YouTube. Subscribe, I mean.
Yeah.
And leave a like if you enjoyed the episode. What else do we got? We got a Reddit. We have
Discord. A Reddit. We got a Discord.
Go on all of our shit. We're gonna be doing some stuff. We might be streaming soon.
Go follow our TikTok.
Oh yeah, we got TikTok.
We got a TikTok that has nothing on it right now. There should be stuff on it soon. That's the New Year's resolution. Get some TikToks out there. We'll have Nick hitting the Renegade.
No, God.
But yeah, go check out the TikTok. We'll probably post some clips from episodes, even past episodes, because we got a lot of funny clips.
Yeah,
a lot of funny episodes. So yeah, that'll be it. Thank you guys for watching and listening, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Goodbye.